All right. What's good? What's good? What's good? You are tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast hosted by your man Kill. You know, I got my squad with me today. Philadelphia Representative Rel. What's going on, good brother?
What's going on, man? Happy to be here. Happy to be here as
And
always.
everything is good. Everything is good. I got my brother Kenny. What's going on, good brother?
What's going on, good people? I'm glad to be here as well.
No doubt, no doubt. Strife is in the building. What's going on, man?
What's happening, y'all? Just glad to be here. Enjoy the ride,
All right, no doubt. Like I've been saying for a while, Apartment 5B is sponsored by. So what's the scenario?
Hey,
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody there. You know what I mean? It's like on some old big video. Put your rollies in the sky. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Roll from side to side. So this is who we are sponsored by. SoWhatGames.com. Apartment 5B promo code will get you free shipping. But yo, I got the brothers right here who are behind this right here, Kenny and Strife. So we're gonna be talking about this game. We're gonna be talking about how ill it is, where the ideas came from, and everything like that. But you know me, we always gotta just get into some old regular good stuff. Y'all know me. Let's get right into it. This week we kind of talking about we just kind of looking at what we listening to, fave artists, things like that, what we banging right now and why we banging it. But let me say this, because I said something yesterday and it's crazy because a lot of people retweeted it. I done got like 70, 80 new followers in the past 24 hours just by saying this. I didn't know everybody felt this way like this. Yo, I'm so sick and fucking tired of this drumless hip hop, man. Like, I can't take it no more. Like, here's the thing. Like, I get it. There's always been drumless hip hop. You know what I mean? Always been drumless hip hop since day one. I mean, my favorite Gang Starr album, Daily Operation, The Place Where We Dwell, drumless hip hop. Soliloquy of Chaos, one of my favorite Gang Starr songs, drumless hip hop. But then Primo gonna come in with them skull snap breaks for Take It Personal. You know, you still gonna get RZA, you know, 260 off of Iron Man, one of my favorite joints, drumless hip hop. But then you also know he gonna give you, you know, something. He gonna give you Cam, he gonna give you something. Whereas right now, all we got is drumless hip hop. Yo, Kenny Strife, it's your first time here. Kenny, how do you feel about drumless hip hop? And keep it in mind, I think everything is cool in moderation. You know what I mean? I gave the example of drinking. You could be a social drinker. That's cool. Catch a buzz, but you ain't gotta be no fucking alcoholic. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a big difference between the two. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with drinking, but when it just becomes overkill, it's like I feel like we gotta have a hip hop intervention right now. Like, you know, like somebody sent me 3 new albums, and all 3 of them was drumless hip hop. All 3 of them, the whole. Here's the wild part. I listen to Drake's new EP. There's more drums on Drake's EP than on his fucking underground boom bap hip hop shit.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
When you say shit like that, it's like, yo, something's wrong with the game. So, Kenny, how do you feel about drumless hip hop being everywhere?
It's the fad right now. I think, especially with the underground scene and the independent scene, it's just the fad that's going on right now. Like Drake. He started a fad too with the atmospheric and like the underwater sounding beats when he first came out. So it's just the fad of what the independent dudes are doing right now. Griselda kind of not spearheaded it, but they the ones that made it popular because they got on with the sound. So a lot of dudes are following suit. I enjoy it, but I do agree. Like I was just listening to the dude from DC named Uncle John. And he just came out with a joint, and I was listening to it in the car, and I was more ready to bump it, but it sound different from the headphones from when I put it in the car. I turned it up loud as I could, but it ain't no drums on it, so I'm like, it don't got that same feel. So I do feel you that it's a certain time and place for it. It is a fad right now, and I think it will go away. Or not go away, but it'll at least start to die down. But it's kind of par for the course, I think.
All right, no doubt. What about you, Strife? What you think?
All right, with drumless hip hop, I could tell you from my experience of like working in the studio, because like I'm an engineer as well. Yeah, so I have like dozens of clients that like, oh, take out the drums right here. The next thing you know, it's taking out the drums from the second verse to taking out the drums of damn near the whole thing. And I'm like, like music works in contrast, like it got to be a certain amount. You can't just overindulge on one thing. So where I hear like a whole project that doesn't have any drums, I'm like, okay, where are you going with this? there are perfect examples where, you know, the drums were taken out and then added towards the end, like Lil Wayne's record from Carter 3, Let the Beat Build. He put the drums towards the end, but what he was saying was so impactful, you were just encaptured by the song anyway. Compared to, you know, other records now where you have mostly vibe and like synth heavy records with just no drums, it's like, I feel like there's no heartbeat. And it's just like, okay, I don't know where you're going with this. It's like the song has no direction. The drums give it the direction. So it's a problem.
Yeah.
What you think, bro?
I think it's the moderation thing, man. Stuff is cool until it just gets oversaturated, and I think that's where we're at with it right now. So where you just like, it's certain things that I like hip hop wise that I don't want to hear all the time. You feel what I'm saying? I think that's the issue. I think people hop on a certain fad and then they run into the ground, and then you get tired of hearing it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's where it's at, because on some songs it sound cool. You know what I'm saying? For example, it's a song by the artist I told you, Willie the Kid. He got a song called Marina with John Connor, and the song is amazing. No drums, but I don't want to hear that for his whole project. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think that's the thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not being done in moderation. It's just, let's take this fad and we're just gonna run it into the ground. You know what I'm saying? So I feel you. I understand your frustration, especially as a producer.
I think it's too, it's like Kenny said, it's like, it's a fad, but I'm just like, fuck, how long is this fad gonna be here? Because we've seen this before. I saw it with Swiss, when Swiss popped up on the scene. You know what I mean? And then people stopped sampling, and then everybody got a Triton. Everybody was making Swiss type beats. You know what I'm saying? I remember I knew producers who was like, "Yo, Kill, I'm trading in my records. I'm selling my records if you want to buy them, because sampling's dead. You know, we going with this Triton sound." And then when Jay dropped the Blueprint, and Ye just came out with sped up soul sample, and then Cat was on that, and everybody was doing the Chipmunk soul sound for a while. You know, so I get it. And to me, you know, Rock Marcy is the person to me who really like spearheaded it, like, and who was doing it. And like Rock said, he said, "Yo, I will be in the studio with these big name producers, and they was trying to sell me beats for these astronomical prices. But it's like, my nigga, I know these ain't the beats you playing for Jay or for Nas. Like, you trying to give me your C shit, you know what I mean, and still making me pay A prices for it. So fuck it, I'm gonna just do it myself." You know what I mean? Which is understandable, because if you in the studio with Just Blaze and he trying to sell you something for 30K, and you like, nigga, I know you ain't played that shit for Jay. You ain't going in your bag for me. Like, so it's disrespectful. So let me start doing my own shit. Then if you don't know how to really make beats, anybody can loop up some shit. You know what I mean?
Very true.
So I think
that's
what
I'm saying.
So Kill, as a producer, let me ask you, how hard is it not to get influenced by, like, you I don't know your beat making process, but how is it? I remember, because I used to rap, right? And sometimes when you listen to stuff, you get influenced by it in your own art. You feel what I'm saying? Like,
right.
So how do, especially now, how does it affect you making beats with the stuff that's going on, like that you hear? Do you get influenced by it, or do you know what I'm saying?
Nah, not at all, bro. I mean, I think the thing is that throughout life, you're always gonna find something that just sounds good as a loop. You know what I'm saying? A great example, my man brought up today on the timeline, Nas's Echo, that scratched it off of Swiss's album, which was crazy. And I think people was asking Scratch, like, "Yo, why you ain't put drums to it?" So Scratch posted the video of the song with drums.
Scratch did that? Damn.
Yeah, Scratch did that joint. Yeah, Scratch did the Echo joint. Which is crazy. It's a producer album, and the other niggas is doing it, because niggas was like, "Oh, okay." Swiss is like, "Nah, Scratch did that." It's like, but Swiss is out. How is it gonna be a Pete Rock album and Primo did the beat? You know what I mean?
Right.
Neither here nor there. But he played the original that he did with the drums, and he was like, "Yo, it just ain't sound right." And everybody was like, "Yeah, that shit do sound better, you know, just with the loop," which always happens. But I'm 47, bro. I've been making beats since 94, 95. My OGs, you had to have drums. You know what I mean? You had to have hard kicks and hard snares and everything like that.
It was the foundation.
So, it's the foundation. So it's like my beats start off with the drums. You know what I mean? So I think too, it doesn't influence me, because that's just what I feel like you got to do. You know, I think the problem is that, like Kenny was saying, since Griselda really blew up with it, it kind of was just like, okay, boom, that's the new way to get on. Plus, on top of that, it's easy. So now I don't even have to pay a producer because you can get an app on your iPhone to just loop something. Like Ransom got a new joint he posted the other day over Johnny Gill's "There You Go" off the Boomerang soundtrack, right?
Oh yeah, I remember that record.
He looped it, sped it up, and Ransom is fucking killing it. It sounds crazy, but it's just fucking Johnny Gill. You know what I mean? So again, there's a way for me to save $5,000 from paying Rel for a beat that I could just loop it up myself. You know, then that just becomes the new thing. So again, it's just it's the fad, but then it's also laziness. But back in my day, yo, if you're my age, you came up blowing out speakers. That was almost the point of hip hop.
Yeah.
You wanted to blow a speaker. You know what I mean? Not on purpose, but just throughout life, you like, yo, I had to blow a speaker. I got 2 or 3 monitors I still keep under here because I don't blew them. You ain't blowing shit with no drumless.
With no drum,
you know, Mom Dukes is yelling upstairs like, "Yo, turn that shit down." You shaking the house. You ain't shaking shit with drumless hip hop. You know, so to me, it's just, and again, it's the overkill of it. It's getting 3 EPs and Drake being one of them, and me walking away from 2 underground MCs, and then being like, "Yo, I ain't gonna hold you. I like Drake's joint the best."
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes you realize, oh shit, we here now. We're here where Drake got drums, but these 2 other niggas who's underground dudes don't got drums. And I think that was like the epiphany. So I'm in my doctor's office, and that's when I just sent out the tweet like, yo, I think I'm done. Like, I'm done. You know what I mean? Like, I don't mind rock because rock pioneered it. And it fits well with Rock Marcy. You know, it fits well, but it's just now it's just like, yo, come on, y'all. Like, you know, and now y'all calling yourselves producers. Like, I can't give you that title. Like, you something, I call you a looper. You a looper, but you can't say you a producer if you don't know how to program drums. Like, come on now. You know, you gonna have people out here like I'm a producer and they never even touch a drum machine in their life. But to me, because I forgot the boy's name. One of the MC's names was, I forgot his name, it's like maybe JR. He's Ransom's new boy out of North Carolina. And the boy is nice, but again, Nicholas Craven did the album and it's all drumless hip hop. And I tweeted that out, and I think one of the boys who's on the album was like, yo, I appreciate you listening. You know, it's all good if you ain't feel it. That's good. I just appreciate you giving it a spin. And I'm like, fam, it ain't the bars, it's the beats. You know, so I'm telling these MCs, yo, stop going for that shit. If niggas give you some beats with no drums, be like, nah, nigga. To me, that's like going to Burger King, ordering a Whopper, and you just get fucking the meat. You don't even get no buns. You have to hold Burger King accountable for that shit. Like, yo, nigga, where my bun at? Like, I want no hamburger with no bun. Like, fuck you talking about? Like, I need the whole thing. So again, producers gonna keep doing it as long as MCs keep asking for it. But here's the bigger problem: MCs don't know what they want.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the main thing. A lot of MCs write music to the beat. They really write something that they look in the beat for. Like, oh, I wrote this song, but I hear this in my head. You know, and then also, I guess with recent times right now, because of like the pandemic and COVID and everything, not a lot of people are going to events where like they're dancing. And as you know, the drums are the driving force of people to get on the dance floor. So it's going to be very interesting to see when things get back to normal and you have all these drumless songs. How's the DJ going to play them at an event where there's like, a couple of hundred people?
Yeah. And I think that's a good point too, because the other problem is, I'm always challenging these producers. Do y'all even know how to program drums? You know what I'm saying? Because we've gone away from the era of, I always tell people, it's all about how you're raised. I was raised under the guise of Pete Rock, Primo, hard drums, Q-Tip, hard ass snares. You know what I mean? So for me, it's like, it just don't even feel right. So to answer your question, bro, I don't get influenced by it because it don't even feel right not to do it. You know what I mean? It's like a nigga who, I gave this analogy. It's like, what if every restaurant or 80% of restaurants just start making microwave food? It's almost like, well, shit, I could just stay home and make this microwave food myself and not even have to pay for it. But then you can't make no microwave food and then try and call yourself a chef. Like my nigga, just because you making food don't mean that you're a chef. You know what I mean? And I know DJs who feel that way. Everybody's a DJ now. Like my thing is, if you can't scratch, you ain't no DJ. I'll call you a playlister. I'll give you a fucking title. I'm not gonna disrespect you and just let you know you're something. But my nigga, I'm from Philly. Yo, I came up with Jeff and Cash and yo, you can't call yourself a DJ and you can't scratch. You know what I mean? So you could be a playlister, you could be a motherfucking, I don't know what you are, but you can't use that title. So I just think it's the overkill of it. And the crazy thing about MCs not knowing what they want, back in 2011, what was happening is, and keeping in mind it's 9 years ago, so we didn't have DistroKid, everybody didn't have their music on iTunes, there was no title. You know, I don't even know if Bandcamp was really out at that time. So when I would say, Rel, say you're an MC, and we're like, okay, boom, we're going to do your album. I'm like, you know what? Let's do a 5-song EP. We're going to let that shit go for free so people can just get introduced to you, see how dope you are. But my thing was, for that EP, nigga, all I'm doing is looping. Because, and this is way before looping was even a thing. So I was like, I'm not putting all this time and effort into making these beats if we giving it away for free. We just going to loop it. All that was like, I ain't rhyme. Where the drums? Where the drums, Kill? I can't rhyme over that shit without no drums. Fast forward 8 years, now niggas is talking about, Kill, I fuck with the beat, but can you take the drums out? Like, this is what I mean. Like 9 years ago, y'all didn't even want this shit. Now, because Griselda's popping, now you want this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, it goes back to, and we touched on this on one episode of Apartment 5B, you know, on the death of the executive producer and how important a dope A&R was. Yeah. Because a lot of, every MC doesn't have the gift to pick beats. To me, that's an add-on. You know, as the MC, your job is really just to write rhymes, you know, and if you're excellent at that, you have done your job. If you can pick beats, I was in Philly once. Say, Rel, you came over to the crib. I played a beat. You ain't like it. Then Strife came over literally an hour after you left. He heard the beat. He liked it. We recorded to it. The next day, Rel, say you came back over and I'm like, yo, let me play you something. Play you the beat. And you like, yo, why you ain't play me that beat? I'm like, yo, I did play you the beat, my nigga. And no, you didn't. No, you didn't. You ain't played me that shit. I'm like, nigga, I played you this beat. I swear to you, I played it for you. You ain't like it. Strife came over. But what that showed me, and this was maybe back 95, what that showed me is that every MC doesn't have the mindset to be able to see what you can do with a beat. Now, once you heard the whole completed song, then it was like, oh, why you ain't play me that beat? And that kind of showed me that every MC, some MCs need a good A&R. Some MCs need a good person to kind of be like, nah, I think that one right there, bro, like you should jump on that. And I think that's a huge problem with hip hop now too, is that we don't have A&R. So we're now leaving MCs that have to do it all. Yeah. You know, what were you going to say, Kenny?
No, I was going to say,
go ahead, my fault.
Before I was going to say real quick, shout out to,
muted, bro. We can't hear you.
I can hear him.
I got you. I am.
Can you hear me?
Right.
Kill? There you go. I was going to say real quick, shout out to Ghostface, because he's before even Rock Marcy, I believe he was one of the first dudes that I heard on some drumless beat type shit. Back with the Pretty Tony album, the Holla joint, which was a Delphonic sample. He was one of the first dudes I heard just rap straight over just a straight like R&B record and no drums, no nothing. But even more so, I was going to say with the drummer stuff, you got to be a spitter, really. You really got to be a spitter. So if you don't got no lyrics, you can't jump on no drumless beat. So I will say I appreciate that from this fad that's going on, is that you really got to be a real spitter to spit over no drums, because all you got is your lyrics that people are listening to. They ain't really nodding their head for no beat. So that part of it I do appreciate.
Yeah, and like. Some rappers don't have that ear, bruh. Yeah, they need to be led in a direction. You know what I'm saying? The analogy Kill gave, like, I heard the beat, didn't like it. Strife heard the beat and made a hit to it. Strife had that ear. Strife had that
Oh, he froze up.
He froze up.
I froze up?
Yeah.
You're good now.
I'm good.
Yeah, I think Kill froze up though.
Okay.
Yeah, Kill did freeze up.
Kill did freeze up. Hold on. Let's wait for him to get back. Oh yeah, he really froze, man.
Yeah. I don't know if you can still hear us, but if you can,
I don't think so.
I don't think you can hear nothing. Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait to hear how y'all did this, man.
Yeah.
This is amazing, bro. This is much needed, bro.
Appreciate
this was
it,
much needed for us hip hop heads, yo. Like,
definitely appreciate it. Definitely.
Yeah, my bad, fam. My shit.
You good?
My bad.
Good, man.
I'm gonna edit it all up. Matter of fact, it's dope too. Sylvester, what's going on, bro?
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Chilling.
Yeah, what's going on?
What's up, bro? How you doing?
It up today. Burned. A couple of people called out, so we just chopping it up today. We're gonna play the game at another time.
Okay, word.
My bad, Kenny. What was you saying?
What was I saying?
I was talking about how the MC didn't know how to pick the beat on one person.
Oh yeah. So what I was saying was that, first of all, shout out to Ghostface, because he was one of the first dudes that I heard even before Rock Marcy that was rapping over just no drums.
Right.
Like back on the Pretty Tony album, the Holler joint over the Delphonics. That was one of the first. I was like, damn, he rapping straight over the record. He ain't even changed nothing. So shout out to him. But also with this new drumless fad going on right now, you really got to be a spitter to actually jump on these type of beats, because all you got is your lyrics. So I do appreciate that part of it. Is the dudes that are doing the drumless thing, they really spit, because you can't, the lyrics is all you got when there ain't no drums. So yeah, that was a good point that I like about this whole fad.
And that's true, because I like with Ransom's joints, with the joints he got with Nicholas Craven, they're all loops, but Ransom is just killing it.
He killing it.
Yeah. He got the verses.
So like you said, it's great for spitters, but I'm just like, yo, like, oh, don't you want some drums? Like, I'm just like, yo, nothing in you is like, it's almost like, again, it's like eating microwave food every night. Like one night, wouldn't you be like, damn, I want some home cooked, I want something good, like, you know what I mean? So I'm just intrigued, like, is that just their thing for that series that they have? But then the crazy thing was then the new guy he got, JR, that's produced by Nicholas Craven, is all loops again. Like, so it's like, I'm like,
but is that more the producer though? Because I mean, they're using the same producer.
Yeah, but that's what I'm like. I'm just wondering, because I never heard of Nicholas Craven until
I had neither. Yeah,
you know what I mean? So maybe that's his MO. But again, if that's your steez, my nigga, if your steez is cooking in the microwave, I can't call you no shit. Again, you're something, because you're creating food, but I can't give you the chef title.
Yeah, and it's because the beat shows the amount of experience, like as a producer, you know how hard it is to layer drums and EQ it and compress it. Right. So to hear that kick drum and that snare and that hi-hat is going to put you in that certain bracket where it's like, all right, you know what? He's a dope producer. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But, so let me ask y'all, who started it? Like who was the first note? Because when I think about it, I know I've heard RZA do it before, right? On certain joints, and I liked them, but also RZA, like for instance, Liquid Swords, the album. The title track is when I went and researched what the sample was, it was just that guitar, and that was it. You know what I'm saying? But then you go and you get fourth chamber, and there's so much going on with that beat. Like it's like you could tell he put some work in that. So who started it? Like when did y'all first hear that trend?
I mean, I think it's been around since hip hop started. You know what I mean? Because it's been there, but I think again, that social driven. You know what I mean? Because like you said, there's gonna be some loops, but then here comes some drums too. So it was always a good. Again, I don't expect my wife to cook a home cooked meal every night. You know what I mean? You throw something in the microwave on a Tuesday, that's cool. I ain't tripping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just do some old hot dog. I'm old school. I do hot dogs and baked beans. I'm good. You know what I mean? But when it becomes overkill, I think it was Rock Marcy when it became the whole album.
Yeah, I think so too.
You know what I mean? So, and again, that's cool for Rock Marcy. Rock Marcy was the only one doing it. which was the beauty of the hip hop back in the day, because it could be you had your style and nobody was gonna bite it. De La had their style and nobody, it wasn't like De La came out and then you saw 8 other groups talking about daisies and dressing crazy and none of that stuff. It was like, okay, that's De La style. Okay, yo, respect. We gonna come over here. We gotta make up our own shit. Whereas now it's like, oh, that's your style. Oh, it blew up. Okay, bet. Now I'm Daisy Age. Now I'm dressing weird. So it was cool with rock, but then when Griselda picked up, you know what I mean? Because when I first heard Rejects 2 and I was just hearing loops, I was like, oh shit, like these niggas gonna Rock Marcy gonna have a problem with these niggas. And then as I kept listening,
he was on it.
He was on it. Right.
I was like, okay, maybe they won't have no problem. Like it was an instant reaction because I was just like, okay, we 3 songs in and this is just all loops. So, but I think like Strike was saying, once it blows, if you're looking for that formula, then that's what you're gonna do. You know what I mean? So it's kind of just like, okay, boom, this is the new way to get on. Bro, same way with ball. You go back in the 90s, you could have a ball who was dishing out assists all the time and could get a nice scholarship to a blue chip D1 school. Now, if you ain't dropping 50, niggas don't care about no blocks, they don't care about no assists, they don't care about nothing. All they want to do is see scoring. So if you're trying to get that scholarship, all you're gonna do is focus on scoring. So everybody wants to get on, so nobody cares about, oh yeah, we gonna bite their style, we gonna bite his style. Our goal is to get on. You know what I mean? So I think that's the problem. And again, that's the overkill of it. Like I said, I'll make a beat. Maybe tonight I'll make a beat and it may just be a loop. But that's because I put drums to it and it don't sit right in it. You know what I mean? And like I was telling my man, that Echo example is probably few and far. That you imagine come clean with no drums.
I also feel like that this style is like the anti-radio, like it's the anti-mainstream or the anti-commercial. So I feel like everybody who's coming up who's not trying to be that automatically kind of goes to that because they're not trying to be with the industry or radio. So they go to the drumless beats because that's sort of the swag right now for that type of MC. Is like, all right, I ain't this. So I'm gonna do this so I can stand out. But like you said, it's getting saturated. It's getting oversaturated.
I mean, it's almost like Griselda reminds me of like the Wu because now every rapper from upstate New York, like, find a niggas
right,
Buffalo, you be lying talking about when my aunt live in Brooklyn, so I be over on Bed-Stuy. Like now, everybody is from upstate New York. Like there's gotta be at least 20 to 30 rappers from Buffalo. Shit, Stove Guy from Syracuse. I didn't even know niggas rhymed in Syracuse. You're like you know what I mean? So it's always about wherever the fad is, whatever people trying to get on to and everything like that. But like I said, I think the epiphany was just like, oh shit, one, Drake got the hardest EP out of 3 underground niggas. And then 2, Nicholas Craven on the Cat JR's album used the sample I used. So when I hear it, I'm like, oh, that's dope. Okay, let me hear what he did with it. Because I had some nasty ass drums to mine. So I'm like waiting, and I'm like, this nigga ain't ass. It was the disappointment. Like, even though somebody used the sample, I'm like, yo, this is dope because I want to see how he freaked. You know what I mean? And it's funny because I'll email you the beat I did, and then I'll email y'all the one that he did, but it's just like, there ain't no drums. You know what I mean? So, Vesta, what do you think about this drumless hip-hop phenomenon that's going on right now?
Don't like it.
Yeah.
Don't like it at all. And I'll tell you why. Because, like, to me, like music in general, like the drummer, if you're just listening to, like, a live band, the drummer always keeps the time. The drummer, that drum beat, it gives you that moment where you can just let the track breathe a little bit. You just let the music breathe a little bit. And, without that, I mean, it's just playing. Why have a system in your car if that drum never kicks in? You just hold flat line the entire time. That would kill me. You might as well just have 6x9s. Why have 15s in your car?
Exactly.
Highs and mids. I'm always waiting on those drums, to kick in or whatever. And there's nothing worse than sitting there. You put that track on, and you're just sitting there, and you're just waiting, and you just really can't catch that vibe because that drum never kicks in. It's like, I don't know. It's just always it's always missing something. So
Yeah. And I mean, I think Kenny made the great point that to be able to pull that off, you got to be an incredible MC because that's really all you got. So you got the Ransoms, you know, the Stove Gods, the Rock Marcy's who can pull it off. But now when everybody is trying to do it, and then the other problem with drumless hip hop is a lot of it is slow as shit too. Like not only is it drums,
it's really one tempo.
It's really slow.
Like really in the bag, just sitting there, you know. And then the funny thing I was telling this to my man that you got to realize with Griselda, they're just blessed to have incredible MCs. You know what I mean? I think Conway and Benny are two of the nastiest niggas walking the planet Earth. And West has that voice, and he's got his own like style to him. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I feel like Conway just reminds me of Biggie, where you can put Biggie on anything. Just put Biggie on a break beat, and it was gonna sound like Dreams of fucking an R&B bitch. Like this is just a break beat, and he's killing that. Like,
did you hear him in the in the documentary? Him rapping over Toto, the Toto beat. I never heard that.
Oh yeah.
I want to hear that. I want to hear that. Like again, like I never heard that he did that. And you're right. You put Biggie on whatever, and he gonna find a way.
And to me, that's Conway. He got that voice. He got that cadence. He got that he could just. But when you look at Griselda now, they're moving away from that. You know, if you look at Benny's last album with Hit Boy, I don't think anything's drums. Drums on everything. You know, but it's so funny because then one MC got at me. He was like, "Yo, Kill, you heard that new Benny and Freddie Gibbs joint? Yo, give me them Benny drums." And I'm like, "You mean the impeach the president drums?" So like, you got
how old was he?
You got probably 20, 21. So I ain't mad at them because these young kids don't know nothing about breakbeats. But here we go again. A minute ago, you ain't want no drums. Now you hear Benny and Freddie on them, and now you want the drums. You know what I mean? So it just goes back and forth. It was funny when I was telling people like about like, yo, let's do these joints real quick with no drums. Niggas like, nah, that's whack. Then Alchemist dropped this joint, Russian Roulette, like back in 2013. Mm-hmm. Everything on here is a loop. And niggas was loving it. And I'm on Twitter like, nah, time out, y'all. No. A minute ago, it was, this shit was whack. Now you saying because Alchemist did it. So again, I think this new generation and even some of us old heads have lost touch on being able to think for ourselves, you know, and being able to think like if Alchemist does it, like I said this the other day, I posted a beat and I said, y'all know goddamn well if Pete or Alchemist posted this beat, y'all be jumping out the fucking window. So find a window and go jump the fuck out of it because this shit is crazy. You know what I mean? But that's it. If Pete Rock just looped up anything, it'd be getting 8 million likes, 150 retweets. Yo, I've heard Pete beats I don't like that. But I don't think people nowadays like they just think, oh, okay, that's Alchemist. Whatever Alchemist touches is gold. You know what I mean? Alchemist is one of my favorite producers. He probably is my dopest producer post 2000. But I ain't gonna hold you. The past 2 years, he's been leaving me kind of like wanting more because now he's doing the loop. He's doing the drum shit now too. And I'm like, yo, bro, what about the realness? Where's the, hold me down, Alchemist? Like, why are you?
I'm missing
Alchemist.
That.
You're supposed to be setting the tone, not following the tone.
Yeah, I'm not as high on Alchemist as I used to be either. I'm not. Yeah, you're right. The past couple years, he's not been. I don't know, giving me what I'm used to.
Trust me, I know I'm in the minority, and y'all know me. That's fine with me. I could be by myself on stuff, but that Lulu joint, if you Alchemist and Conway, I was like, oh, this joint gonna be crazy. And I was like, nah.
It wasn't. It was cool.
It was cool.
Right. Yeah,
but it's just like I tell people, that's like, yo, Jordan. People think Jordan was trash when he went to the Wizards. He wasn't trash. He was good, but he just wasn't Jordan.
He wasn't Jordan, right?
Like that's the thing. Right. So Lulu wasn't trash, but goddamn, Alchemist and Conway, like that's a dream setup right there for me. So for it to be just good, it's like, nah, man, you ain't supposed to just be good, nigga. You Conway and Alchemist. Y'all supposed to be creating something that's, out the world. But tell me this, man, Kenny, what you banging right now? Like, what MC are you feeling right now? What's in your rotation right now?
Right now, like I said before, Uncle John, MC out of DC, DMV. I was banging him pretty tough. Mavi, dude from North Carolina. If y'all haven't heard of him, he's super dope. He just released it. Mavi, Mavi.
Okay.
He released a joint, I believe last year or the year before, called "Let the Sun Talk," which is probably one of my favorite joints of the last couple years. But he released the EP recently, I think maybe a couple weeks ago. That's pretty dope too. So them two off the top of my head are the two dudes that I am bumping. Oh, and Rome Streets. His joint that he just released. I'm rocking with him too. So them three are the other dudes I'm rocking with right now.
I've been hearing about Rome Streets.
He just did the joint with DJ Muggs. Still a little bit of drumless stuff in there, but Muggs he provides the drums too. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I've been dope. A lot on the timeline. What about you, Strife? What you been banging?
Yeah, Rome Streets is one. Actually met him at a performance last December, 2019 going to 2020. Who else I'm bumping? From Yo Gotti's new artist, ESTG. I like him. He's kind of dope. That one kid that got that song Quicksand, Moray, from North Carolina as well. I've been listening to him as well. And besides that, just like my normal playlist from 2005 and older. That's about it.
Yo, it's funny, man. It's a lot of MCs coming out of North Carolina now, man.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think spawned that? Do you think it was the little brother named
Cole,
the J. Cole?
Cole.
Okay.
I think Cole opened that door. Little brother too, but Cole more recently, just putting a spotlight on them.
Right.
And
so
Distro Kid.
Yeah. It's funny how it just takes one big MC and next thing you know, it's a hotbed. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of thing with Griselda. Like Buffalo is killing right now. What about you, Sylvester? What you banging right now?
Believe it or not, I still can't get past King's disease. That's been heavy in my rotation. You got some that say, it was then you got others that are banging it, and it's just still a favorite.
Solid.
I like,
that's what I'm really rocking with right now. Still, like I say, I get a lot of play on that. And other than that, still heavy on my Scarface. I'm a Scarface fan, but believe it or not, he's not in my top 5, maybe not even my top 8 MCs. But I just enjoy his music. That's probably one of the first albums that I had listened to with 0 skips. Right. Mr. Scarface is back, so I'm a big Scarface fan. So he's always heavy in my rotation.
I'm gonna say this for everybody right now. You might not agree with me, but Scarface has the best discography of any MC all time. That's my personal opinion on that, and I could go back and forth with that. If you include Ghetto Boys within that, I think there's a strong argument that he has the best discography. But continue.
No, I'm mad at that tape. Here's the funny. Strife said he mad. You said you mad at Strife?
No, so I'm not. I'm not.
Okay. I'm on Strife like fuck that. Nah, it's funny because I've never been a big Face fan like that, so I can't to me. Here's the thing that I like to think about when you become a mature person. Like on Twitter, folk ain't mature. That's why niggas can argue all day. Whereas I'm I've never heard Face's whole discography, so I can't speak intelligently on that. So I can't say is or not. But even though I'm not a big Face fan, I understand how dope he is. I understand what he means to the culture. And that's what a lot of people can't do. Like a lot of people can't separate their favorite from the best. You know what I mean? Yeah, and I'm always saying that it's the same with basketball. Growing up, I hated Jordan. I was a Bad Boys fan. So I hated Jordan. Nigga, I was rooting for Utah. I was rooting for white people.
Oh my God.
This is how much I hated this man. But if you ask me who the greatest ever, Jordan. It's not even a thought process. And it's Mike got nothing. Snoop said something on the wire when Michael was asking about Junebug, and she was like, "Deserve got nothing to do with it." And I always say that about
I remember
Light got nothing to do with it. Light got nothing to do with who's dope. And that's where people get caught up. So from everything I've heard about Face, I can't be mad at that. I can't be mad at that. And the other thing with you, Sylvester, I think that people don't understand how many MCs are in the world right now. Right. So when people say things people get offended, they'll be like, yo, he ain't in your top 10. My nigga, there may be 600 MCs from 1983 to present day. So if you make somebody's top 50, my nigga, you are winning.
Yeah, right.
But it doesn't sound like it because you're not top 10. We're just ingrained in this top 10 phenomenon. Like, and I'm like, everybody can't fit in top 10. You know, but what was you gonna say, Sylvester?
No, I got a quick story of why I like Scarface and just rap a lot in general. If you don't mind,
No. Do your thing, bro.
In 2005, when I was in Iraq, I met a relative of Big Chief. Which, if you ever hear any Scarface songs, you always talk about Big Chief, Little J, Obito. You know, we always naming those three guys. Okay, so his relative. When I found out, who his relative was, a sister to or whatever, I was like, once you get to somebody send me just a Rap A Lot T-shirt, and they was like, okay, bet done. Man, about a month later, because stuff got to get sent. All the way overseas. The entire Rap A Lot discography I had, every Face album.
Wow.
Everybody from Rap A Lot, T-shirts, all the stuff signed. Just so I was like, that's love right there.
Yeah, that is love. That's love. That's love.
That's why.
Yeah, Cash Money not doing that.
Yeah, like I said, I ain't mad at Face at all, man. And a good point that you brought up about King's disease, I think, because I've talked with people on the timeline, like, oh, nah, still picking whack beats, them beats was whack, whatever. I thought the beats were good, but I'm like, to me, the songs were even better. You know what I mean? And I think that's what sometimes people get lost in, is that, your goal is to make a dope song. You know what I mean? So yeah, maybe if I would have heard these beats just on a Hit Boy, beat tape, maybe I would have been drawn to them. But it's about what Nas did to those beats. You know what I'm saying? That made dope songs. But sometimes I think now dudes just want mixtapes. You know what I mean? Like, the goal is we still in the record business. The whole goal is to sell records. You know what I mean? Like,
and I'll be completely honest. That was my first really introduction to Hit Boy.
Right.
King's Disease. So I don't really have anything to compare to. But
I only heard Hit Boy's name from niggas in Paris, and I wasn't a big Watch the Throne dude. So when I heard he was working with Nas, I was kind of like apprehensive. But I think Hit Boy, to me, I want to say when we did the show, I want to say Hit Boy was probably my producer last year, producer of the year, just from what he did with King's Disease, and what he did with Benny's.
With Benny, yeah.
You know what I mean? And like just let him get into his bag real quick. Before we get to you, Rob, I'm gonna get back to you. But tell me a little bit about, so what's the scenario? Like, where'd the idea come from? What was the concept? Like, how did y'all two come together to cook this up?
Strike, you want to?
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. How did this start? Okay. At first, this was like collecting cards. Like, we wasn't even thinking on like an actual card game. So like, we went to college together. So like, we known each other for like over a decade. So I hit him up and we were just talking. He was like, yo, we should come out with like, collector's cards for hip hop, the same way you have, Upper Deck for like baseball cards and basketball cards, things of that sort. And Kenyon was like, yo, we should turn it into a hip hop card game, like actually use the cards for a game. And I'm like, that's impossible on how to do that. And he was like, no, man, we should just try it. And I have my years of experience of like being in the industry as far as an engineer, being in sessions. I was also in the session with Ransom. Shout out to Ransom. Kenny, he's a journalist by nature. Like, so he is interview artist as well. He's like, yo, we could really do this, And we also did music as well. So how many years did it take? Like, free nights and weekends, conversations. Yeah, a couple years. And then it just boiled down into, so what's the scenario? And we just kept playing it over and over, and it was like, you know what? This actually might work as far as like how to play it, the ratings on the cards and everything. This might work. We played it with our friends, and then the scary thing was we didn't have anybody to be like, oh, this was a bad idea. Everybody said, yo, this is a great idea. Then it came to fruition. So,
all right. That's dope. Kenny, what's your take on it?
Yeah, pretty much what he said. Like, Strife is a dude that he always has an idea. about something, and I'm the friend that's shooting everything down. So this is so he like you said, he came across with the idea of doing like rapper trading cards, and the light bulb went off in my head of, all right, I can finally because like I said, like Trey said, we're MCs, we were former MCs. But ain't no really such thing as a former MC. If you're an MC, you're an MC.
Exactly.
Right. Fact. So in my head, I'm like, okay, I know what, at least I believe I know what it takes to be a MC, a real MC. And I can finally lay out what the criteria is and figure out how to actually get it rated. So that was what spurred me to be like, okay, this is a good idea. We can figure out how to do this. But like what Stripe was saying is, it wasn't any way to monetize it. I didn't think. I mean, for nostalgic purposes, it would be cool to trade rapper cards with your friends, but it had no use. So it was okay. Well, let's make a use out of it and make it into an actual game where you can actually use the cards. So then that's what started to build the actual game. And all right, now how are we going to use them? Oh, we can battle with them. Okay, that's cool. But now, all right, let's have scenarios. So now that you don't always have to battle, you can just put a card down and people can put a bunch of cards down. You give a scenario, and now you get to decide which MC fits the scenario the best. And then that's where all the conversation starts. That's where all the argument starts. That's where all the debate starts. And, which is what, as hip hop fans and lovers, that's all we love to do. Like the barbershop is just go back and forth on who you think is the best or who fits this scenario the best or what have you. So all that rolled into one is like, okay, that's the perfect thing for people like us, because that's all we love to do anyway. So let's figure out how we can make this make it a structure out of it, because when we have these conversations, there's not really a basis on or no rule book as far as what we saying is the best or what we saying is worse, or you know what I'm saying? It's a bunch of opinions, but if we can kind of put some rules in place, now we can have a real discussion and really come to some common agreement on some things. So that was the basis for it.
That's dope.
Sound like it's gonna be fun, man. That sounds like it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely is.
Yeah, man.
Again, like I said, some people had to dip the night so we weren't able to play, but we will play this joint live on Apartment 5B just to show everybody just how dope it is. But in the meantime, if not for nothing, you got it. One of the things I'm always big on, and if you follow me on the timeline or for people who really know me, it's about supporting folk. You know what I mean? Yes. So the piece is, if you love hip hop, how can you not support? I want to say I've never seen a hip hop card game. I've never seen a hip hop game period before.
Period.
So how can you not support it, especially when it's two black men who's doing it? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, for me, more importantly than anything is just, the support of this game, copping it. Like you said, you gonna be doing the same shit you do on the timeline every day. You know what I mean? The same conversations you get in at the barbershop, you get in at your man's crib, you get into at the barbecue, wherever you hanging out, whatever Zoom call you on. This is just the doper way to do it. So just again, SoWhatGames.com, promo code Apartment 5B, you get free shipping. But definitely dig into this joint. And then how can you not love the name? So what's the scenario? You know what I mean?
Right.
How can you not like that? Just to go back on that, Rel, real quick. Before we get to you, Rel, tell me this, just from the name, what's the scenario? Outside Buster, who had the dopest verse on scenario? Outside Buster, because everybody most of the time is gonna say Buster. So now it's time. Now you gotta think.
Yeah,
that's everybody's big joke. Like Buster. I mean, who else?
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm telling you, I got the wild card, man. I always loved Charlie Brown's verse on there.
Who's that, bro?
North Carolina, in Compton. Check it out. I mean, I always loved Charlie's verse on there.
That was That was my pick.
Which is strange to say because you still got Tip, you still got Fife. You know what I mean? But yeah, I
might have to agree with you, man.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Yeah, that was my favorite verse besides Buster was Charlie Brown. It stood out to me, especially when that song came out. How old I was, like I was young, so that his verse really stood out to me. You know what I'm saying? And everybody killed it, and then on the remix, Kid Hood killed it. So I just had to throw that in here. I had to throw that in there.
Kid Hood killed that, man. Kid Hood. That's one of those hip hop what ifs, man. Like, you know, what Kid Hood could have been if he didn't die, man. If he didn't die. So, Vesta, what do you think? Who had the best verse on Scenario without Busta?
Well, see, you already done ruined it.
Hard question.
This that hand of spades where you ain't got nothing and you about to get set and you gotta try and pull something out. Like,
I'm gonna have to go with 5 then.
Okay, I ain't mad at that.
I'm gonna have to go with 5.
Hey, Bo knows this and Bo knows that.
I knows that. That's right.
Jack, because Bo can't rap.
I might have to agree with Sylvester as far as going with top on Fife Dog.
All right.
I mean,
rest in peace to Fife.
Rest in peace to Fife.
No doubt. Bro, what you banging, man?
Man, you know, I'm still bringing my man Willie the Kid, man. Y'all gotta check him out, man. He got some good stuff. He has a large discography of just stuff. So I'm listening to
from the Gangsta Grill days.
Yeah, from the Gangsta Grill days, right? That's where he started.
That Willie the Kid.
Yeah. He's still putting out good
long
shit.
Time.
Oh man, he got some good stuff, man. Aquamarine, the Crates is good. So I'm listening to that, and then I got into my West Coast, old school West Coast bag recently. So I've been listening to all the old Cube. I listened to Compton's Most Wanted. We Come Strapped the other day. So I've been listening to a lot of my old school West Coast stuff. The DOC, who is one of my favorite slept on rappers. So that's what I've been listening to. I'm always dipping into some back in the day, stuff that I grew up on, and just depending on my mood, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you. And I think the funniest thing, man, is people think I listen to nothing but hip hop, and it's really the opposite. You know what I mean? Like, I've been in my bag with this last Raheem DeVaughn album, With a Time to Be in Love. I don't know if y'all fuck with Raheem, but that joint was crazy.
DMV representative.
Yeah, I've been, and I don't know why he doesn't get his props, man. Like, Raheem's, quietly got a dope discography. You know what I mean?
That first drum was a classic.
Yeah, the first with Guess Who Loves You More.
Guess Who Loves You More.
All his voices have been solid. He's he talks about black folk. He talks about the struggle. Like, so I don't get that. And truth be told, and I'm actually glad Portia ain't here because I don't feel like seeing her face when I say this, but I've been banging this Drake EP, man. Like, I ain't even going.
It's straight.
I haven't listened to it. It's all right.
Yeah, it's straight.
Here's the thing, man. I like Drake.
I like the 3 records.
You know what I mean? I don't think, for me, once I find out you have a ghostwriter, I can no longer hold you in the esteem of an MC. You know what I mean? So when I say I like Drake, people are always like, yo, but he got, as an entertainer, he's like Sammy Davis to me. Sammy Davis was an entertainer. You know what I mean? Like, Drake to me is an entertainer. I think he makes good music. This joint on this lemon pepper wings with Ross.
Yeah, the lemon pepper he killed.
You know what I mean? So I'm shocked, but I like the Drake joint. I've been banging Jasmine Sullivan from the Crib, her last album. But the
album is good too.
Yeah,
she's crazy with it. Yeah. I have a weird Drake take though. How I feel about Drake. I like Drake, right? I like a lot of his older stuff, like So Far Gone when that came out, stuff like that. So I made a Drake mix. I'm always making playlists. And it's a lot of I noticed I don't like trap Drake. I see I don't like trap Drake because none of those songs are on my list of my favorite Drake songs. It's a lot of the slow songs and a couple of songs where he was actually spitting. I don't even know if he wrote it. I don't care. It sounded good. You know what I'm saying? I don't look at him as an MC. Like, I look at him as an entertainer. And once you get that mindset, then you can look at it with a clear view and just appreciate the music. You know what I'm saying? He do a lot of stuff that I don't like, but at the end of the day, I don't know none of these people personally. So it's the music. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Pusha T is one of my favorite rappers. I wanted Pusha T to destroy him. But at the end of the day, I don't know none of them personally. So if it's good music, I'm going to listen to it. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about Drake.
And I think the hard part with a lot of these newer MCs, fam, is that they have to appease so many different people. You know what I mean? So you got, there's Drake I hate when he try to be Jamaican. Or I hate, there are certain Drakes in this EP, he's just rapping. You know, this isn't I'm trying to be Jamaican Drake. This isn't trap Drake. This isn't, you know what I mean? So I think because a lot of people don't know that about Dave East. People be like, nah, I don't really fuck with Dave. I mean, I think you just gotta find the right project to fuck with Dave. You know, because these niggas are still young. They like that shit. You know, I can't expect a 35. I can't expect a 33-year-old boy to make music for a 47-year-old man. You know what I'm saying? So I can't get mad at you for doing that. What I like about Dave is you just gotta find out what project is for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I'd rather you do that than try to make an album with 3 boom bap, 3 trap, 3 drum, like trying to
it's all over the place.
I'd rather you just be like, yo, this is my hip hop album. This my trap album, this my such and such album, and you just jump in when you want, kind of like with Fab when he was doing the soul tapes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was like, boom, I'm not gonna fuck with Fab's album because he's doing this shit for the radio, but boom, the soul tapes, you know,
classics.
Yeah, it's for me type thing. You know what I mean? But how do y'all feel like? Do you think what MC do you think right now, lyrically, is doing it for you? Like, if you're like, yo, Kill, this is the boy right now who, you know, if I had to put, here's a better question what I'm trying to say. Watching ball, you know, I told my man the other day, there's probably no more than 15, maybe 20 players who I think right now could hoop in the 90s. You know what I mean? What MC right now do you think could go back to 94, 95 and survive? Not just survive, because when we think about 94, 95, there's so many dope groups and MCs, and you're like, oh shit, what happened to
them?
The Bush,
the Bush babies.
But the problem is they were 4 mic dope, but there was too many 5 mic groups that was out. The Artifacts, dope as fuck. They just, you know, but at the same time, you got Tribe, you got Wu-Tang, you got Black Moon, you got all these incredible groups. So what MC right now do you think could go back and not just be the Artifacts, but could really be right there with the MCs of 94, 95, which of course is the Helter Skelter era, the Wu-Tang era, the Purple Tape era, the Nas era? What MC right now do you think could do that? Kenny, who you got? You look perplexed.
Yeah, because do they have to be? Because the dude I'm thinking about on top of my head is Rock Marcy, but he was around in 90, 98. You know, he was around, but he wasn't the main dude. But if I had to think of one dude right now that like lyrically is like, when every time I'm hearing him, I'm like, yo, he got it. It's Rock Marcy, even though he's an older dude,
right? You
know, but he could go back then and he got his style now, he could destroy it.
Right. He's nice.
Yeah.
Right.
For me, I would probably go with Pusha T. I'm probably gonna go with Pusha T. Yeah.
That was my
that was your answer. Because once Kenny said, like, yo, how far back are we gonna go? Like, because I get it with Rock Marciano. I get it. It's like, yo, he was really doing it, you know, since all the way back. And I was like, damn, I wanted to use Pusha T, but what is it gonna be like from 2010 and on? Because Pusha T is gonna be my number one choice. But if we have to start with somebody who's younger for now, I think, to be honest with you, I think Big Sean could probably hold his own.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me this, right? What is a good place to start with Big Sean? Because I've never really got with his music. Because what it is I've never heard anything that made me want to listen more. You know what I'm saying? So I've never listened to a Big Sean album, but I hear his name always in circles. I hear people bring him up. I always hear his name. So what do you think what would you say, yo, Kill, this is what you should listen to, like, if to see why I'm picking Big Sean? Like, what album would you send me for that?
Okay, I would say to start, his first one would be like the Finally Famous joint.
The Finally Famous?
Finally Famous. Yeah. Finally Famous.
Right. And then the next joint would be a mixtape, would be the first Detroit.
The first Detroit, yeah.
The first one. Because and I suggest to listen in that order, because if you listen to the first Detroit before you listen to Finally Famous, you're gonna get turned off on it, because you're gonna see a whole lot of progression. And then I guess for a sense of maturity, his latest one, Detroit Part 2, which is an actual album.
All right.
I think those 3. The other albums, I don't think it will hold his talent justice, in my opinion. You know, he had his second album. I forgot what it's called. It was like Hall of Fame or something like that. That wasn't it. I think the label should have switched Hall of Fame and Detroit One. Detroit One should have been his second album. But nonetheless, in that order, like Finally Famous, Detroit One, which is a mixtape, and I think didn't Drama host that? If I'm not mistaken, DJ Drama. I think so. I don't remember, but yeah, Finally Famous, Detroit One, and then Detroit Two, his latest one. You're definitely gonna see just maturity from him, but also as far as the lyrics and the song content. I think those three will kind of give you more of a thought on Big Sean. Like, yo, you know what? I think he could hold his own.
All right, no doubt. Sylvester, who you got?
To be honest, I'm gonna tell you this, and y'all probably laugh, whatever. But right now, I'm a closet Ross fan. Okay.
Oh no, I can see Ross for sure.
Yeah,
I could definitely see Ross.
Yeah, I ain't mad at that at all, bro.
Not at all. He makes a lot of good music now. People, say that he's always saying the same thing, but you cannot knock his delivery. His delivery's smooth to me. Man makes good music. Makes good riding music, whatever. So I feel like Ross could have held his own. And it's like back to the beats. Like, man, he knows how to pick those beats.
Hell of it,
why don't y'all think Ross's name gets brought up more as like being like? I mean, truth be told, like Ross kind of could be one of the dopest MCs post 2000, like top 5. But
because I think it's a comparison to Big.
His name brought up like that
because I feel like it's like a comparison to Big. That's my opinion.
You
like
said
somebody's always
because what?
Like somebody's trying to compare him to Big. That's my thought on it. That he's always being, instead of just letting Ross be Ross, he's always being compared to somebody else. And
Puffy tried. That's a huge Puff problem because Puff was trying to sign Ross, and he was trying to sign Nicki Minaj and trying to shop them as the new Biggie and Lil' Kim. So that's Puff's fucked up. But let's fuck hip hop up some more. You know what I mean? Philosophy of let me market it like this. But yeah, what were you gonna say, Kenny? You had some ideas?
It's a couple of things. I think the CO thing sort of he's risen above it clearly. But I think the CO thing is a chink in his armor. That kind of rub people the wrong way. Also think, besides Teflon Don, which I think is his best album, I don't think there's one consensus project that everybody's like, yo, that's the one. Teflon Don to me is the one, but I don't know if there is one consensus project that people like, really are championing.
Was that the one where he had that Styles record, Blowing Money Fast?
No, I think
before that.
I think it was before that, actually.
Okay.
I think it was before that. And I think the other thing is that, yes, like Sylvester said, he got his deliveries down pat. He picks great beats, and his flow is always consistent. But bar wise, there's not a real lot of standout bars to me from Ross, and I think that kind of flies him under the radar as far as being like one of the dopest MCs. So I think he is one of the dopest MCs. But if I can't pick no bars, I can't drop no bars to you right now about. I don't know what Ross's best bars are, but I know he can flow crazy. I know he picks great beats, and I know his delivery is tight. So
a lot of his bars are like imagery.
Blowing Money Fast. Blowing Money Fast. It's on Teflon Don.
Okay.
And looking at this track list, you're right. This has got some. That's
his best joint to me.
Yeah, I'm Not a Star. Tears of Joy with CeeLo. Maybach Music 3. Super High. MC Hammer. Aston Martin Music. Yeah, this was a good one. Yeah, definitely.
But I think you made the point, Kenny, that without that like solidified classic, you know what I'm saying? That's always gonna leave you out. My man Sean in the chat said, lyrically, he's not no lyrical, sample. Right. You know what I mean? But like you said, he's got the voice, he's got the flow, he's got the presence. You know what I mean?
What's Ross's hits too, besides BMF? I mean, what hits do he got? I think that also kind of leads him out the conversation a little bit.
Yeah, like universal hits. Yeah, he got a lot of got a lot of street.
He got a lot of street records. Yeah,
yeah, like that Hustling record. Like I know a lot of people like it. I did not like it when it first came out.
So here's a doper question. Then why is Ross still around? If he don't got the
he's consistent.
Okay.
There you go. There you go. Hey. There you go. He's consistent. He's not gonna give you no trash.
You right. You know when Ross come out, I'm gonna play it for sure. Right.
Exactly.
I'm gonna ride to it.
Right. Yeah.
All right. That's a good point. That's a good point. It's funny because I don't know if the CEO shit killed them or even left the chink just because nobody gives a fuck no more. You know what I mean? Like that's what that showed me was rap fans don't care anymore. Because
let me ask y'all this: Did he beat 50? Because I think he did.
Did he beat him?
Their little battle? When they
I've never been
back and
fan.
To be honest,
that was easy,
I didn't even pay no attention to that shit. Like, to be honest, like,
I think 50 lost every battle after Ja Rule.
What? Like,
yeah, me too.
50 lost every battle after Ja Rule.
I could agree with you that. I could agree with that, bro. And I think what held up 50 through those battles is the fact that he's doing movies. Because now most people don't really consider a rapper versus a rapper. They consider a brand versus a brand.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So
right.
it's like if you have, Rick Ross lyrically getting at 50, which I would think Rick Ross would have better lyrics than 50. But here's the thing. 50's doing movies. He's doing this. He's doing that. It evens out. So it's like, you know what? Okay. He lost, but did he really lose? That's what most people are thinking.
You're right. Yeah, correct.
What Kim was saying is,
and now we've got the attention span of that. Exactly. Span of like 1 minute, like you just said, Pusha with the whole thing with Drake is like, okay, yo, Pusha won. This nigga told everybody Drake got a son, and then 3 days later we on to the next thing. Like literally is like. Now, if this was 1995, we'd be talking about that shit for 3 months. Like,
of course,
whereas now you lose a battle, it's like you could lose, you could take an L and then get back because the next day is gonna be 50 other things on Vlad, or 50 other things on Media Takeout, or 50 other things on something else will be trending on Twitter. Because so much is always going on. The thing was the CEO thing with me with Ross, I never got nigga. Why lie? You know what I mean?
The word, right?
Niggas is gonna go digging. You know that. You could have just been like, yo, I swear I need to be a PR person. Like, I would have been like, yo, Ross, be like, yep, I was a CEO. I was the nigga bringing the coke into prison. I was the one doing woo, 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 woo. You could have 50 different ways type that. But it was like, nah, I'm not a CEO. Oh, shit, I was a CEO. And then when niggas didn't budge, it was like, it showed me people don't care no more. Even really showed me, too, when Gilly pull Wayne's car with like, yo, here's a picture of this nigga baby kissing him. And mad niggas was copping pleas for him. Like, yo,
making excuses.
Yo, niggas was like, yo, a man can't kiss his father. I'm like, what? He can start right there. Like, nigga, I don't know the last time I ever kissed my pop on the lips. Like, ever. Like,
what?
But it showed me because I swear to you, if it was 1987 and we had a picture of Eric B kissing Rakim on the mouth, that nigga's dead. Yo, I don't care if that nigga wrote The Ledge, Microphone Fiend. I ain't no joke. Rakim is dead. You know what I mean? Like if that at that time Jay's like, yo, I'm from Marcy, and you find out that nigga went to Catholic school and he from upstate New York, like, yo, Jay is over.
It's supposed to be over.
But so that just showed me that niggas don't care no more. Like, this shit is wrestling now. Like, we don't care if this shit is real or not. Like,
it's like the bigger the brand, the more excuses you can give them.
Yep.
The more excuses they could get away with it.
Yeah, because that's a good point that he lost all his battles. Even the shit he did with Kanye, who album was gonna sell the most?
Kanye trashed him.
Of course,
he lost that.
I remember that Rolling Stone cover.
He lost that.
Kanye trashed.
That was the end of sort of the end of or was the ushering in into the weird shit. But the gangster rap, it wasn't the end of it, but that was like the start of the end, at least to me. Yeah, when Kanye beat them.
Because 50 just came out and just came onto the scene like nothing I'd ever seen before. Like, I remember when Get Rich or Die Trying dropped, I went to like 5 different stores and it was sold out.
Yeah, you wasn't finding it.
Everywhere. you know, and that was like unheard. I'm going to Best Buy, Circuit City, Sam Goody, like going to different malls, driving Laurel, going to Bowie, going all over the place. No place had that joint out. Rel, who do you have that you think could still do it?
Well, I originally had Push. Originally had King Push. I feel like Daytona sounds like a album from back in the 90s to me. Like it just sounds like if Ray or somebody would have made that album, it'll fit. You know what I'm saying? It just sounded like that to me. You know what I'm saying? He calls it his purple tape, and I could see the influence. So I know Push, and I would say Kendrick. I would say Kendrick can hold his own. Just because he's talent, subject matter, versatility, storytelling, concept. Good Kid, Mad City is really a concept album. I'm sorry.
Right.
When you really listen to it, and I just feel Kendrick could hold his own, especially as a West Coast artist. I really think Kendrick can hold his own back in the 90s. So those are my two, Pusha and Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, and I gotta go with Push because the crazy thing about me with Push is he damn near was there already. You know what I'm saying? Like,
if you want to be honest, yeah.
99
dropped like maybe 98. You know what I mean? So he was almost just the fact that he kind of dropped in 98 and still is super relevant. And I mean, truth be told, I think his discography is one of the most slept on ones. My Name Is My Name, and I forgot the name of the second one, like The Darkest Hour. This joint right here, like this joint was crazy to me. Daytona was crazy to me. So the fact that you possibly been around since 99 and you just dropped what could be your dopest album with Daytona in 2018, like that just. And then the fact is, he's been selling coke for 20 years, and he finds a new, interesting way to do it every time. That right there is a skill that you can keep telling me the same story for 20 years, but you still keep me on the edge of my seat. You know what I'm saying? And I just love quotables. So to me, he's full of quotables. Like Kenny, what you were saying about Ross, you're right. I can't think of no Ross quotables or Ross. Never makes me rewind, but just as soon as Daytona started, ran off the plug too like True Boy. I'm like, this nigga, rewind that back.
Plug too like True Boy.
So I love being able to rewind, and Pusha is like the king of that. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the few people who left an incredible rap group to go on and have an incredible solo career. Like most people don't have that. Like I think it's Pusha like Pharoah Monch. Like they're the only two people who like to me left a dope group and like went on to have great solo careers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I remember
Scarface in that too.
Yeah, no doubt.
Face, yeah.
Had a joint, man. But
you know what my my fault.
No. What you gonna say, bro?
You know what my quotable is off of Daytona? It's on my favorite one is he was like, never trust a bitch that something that falls in love with the camera. Finds love in the camera. She'll fuck you and turn around and fuck a janitor. I said, "Oh my god, run that back! How you start the song off like that?" I said, "Oh man, this dude."
I mean, Push just got, and I mean, the crazy part is, and then the beats was dope because this is Kanye, crazy Kanye. So, like, just the beats were dope. My only beef with Daytona is just because I'm an old man. I felt like they just went overboard with taking the Whitney. That to me, that was disrespectful.
It was tasteless.
That's crazy Kanye.
Yeah, that's crazy. But like that was just like that Meek Mill's line about Kobe. Like, come on, bro. Like, stop. Like, don't do that.
He knew what he meant by saying that, man.
Just stop. But but other than that, like, I felt like Daytona was the shit. So Strife, Kenny, your first time chopping it up with us. Who are your three GOAT MCs, the greatest MCs of all time? Who are y'all three GOATs?
Strife, I want to hear this. I want to hear this.
Well, I got two older brothers who always played me Hove, so I'm like, all right, Jay-Z's one. Damn, I'm so New York right now. Biggie's another one. Like those are those two right there. A third one. And it's crazy because all three of these MCs are like not my favorite, but like I listen to them. So the third one would be Nas.
Okay.
So that's like all New York. But crazy enough, my favorite is Fabulous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what is it about Fab?
Oh man, Fab was the only rapper that like I bought his like my first album that I ever bought as a kid was Fabulous album. From Nothing to Something. I think that's what's called. I bought his poster. He was the only one I hung up the poster in my room. I went to high school dressing like him. I mean, like throwback,
every whole time Stripe. This is why I love doing this show, because do y'all see excitement in this man's face?
Yeah.
That's what I love, because that's how people love hip hop. That's what I love seeing. That's what while y'all debate, I just want to discuss. I like seeing people get hyped and get excited for why they love the culture so much. You know what I mean? So now keep going, Strife. I love it. Bro.
I was just like that in high school. And at that time, I went to high school down south in Virginia. So it's like, I'm dressing like Fab. Even when working on music, I was like rhyming like him. He was like punch ball king to me. Everybody's like, nah. G-Unit came out. Lloyd Banks was the punch ball king. I'm like, man, Fab is better than that. Get out of here with that. So it's just, but I know now from the three of like all time that I just said, it's like Nas, he's a great storyteller, just like Scarface. You know what I'm saying? Biggie, he got lyrics, but his flow is just uncanny. I mean, I get headaches from DJs when they're trying to like take his acapella and put it on different mixes, because his flow is unique for every single beat, And then just Hove just got, Jay-Z, he just got like lyrics. Sometimes with the concept, he's doing concept now because he's older, and I think he kind of has no choice but to do that because he talked about everything else. But just with Jay-Z and like a few of the songs that he has, it's like, damn, like, as he got older, I started to resonate with him more. But those are like my top three. And I know it's like so New York, but this is where I'm at. Not to shade anybody else like Snoop or RZA, Wu-Tang or anything like that. Those are my top three.
Nah, dog, I feel you. I posted my top 10 the other day by my fucking steak, and that just started bullshit. But somebody was like, oh man, that's the best of New York. You know what I mean? I'm like, nigga, that's my GOAT MCs. Like, you know what I mean? It again, I can't debate it. Like, if you want to discuss it, we could discuss it all day. But like, it is mine. Like, it's fucking mine. Like, how am I gonna tell you? Like, music speaks to us all different. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm always on the timeline talking about, like, bruh, like, you may not find my wife attractive. I may not find your wife attractive. That's why we with who we with. You know what I mean? You find what's to you. Well, I'm gonna argue with you like, why you marry her? Nigga, she make you happy, I guess. So,
right?
Who cares why? It's just, so it always trips me out when people want to be like, oh, that's a whack top 10. Oh, okay, bro. It's just mine, Kenny, what about you, bro?
Okay, so I'm sort of blending my favorites and the GOATs, but number one to me is, I know I'm gonna start backwards. 3 is Face. Face is being from the DMV area. Face is that dude, and he's always been, since forever. So I was born in 87. Me and Stray was 87 baby. Mm-hmm. So we grew up. I grew up listening. My parents put me on the Face. And I would remember listening in the car when Smile came out, and my that's back when you would buy an album for one song, and listening to Scarface, and Scarface is heavy in the go-go scene too. So Face is that dude to me, and 2 is Nas.
Hold on for a second. Can you expand on that a little bit more? Because once you said that, I realized, because everybody knows I work out in Southeast all throughout the hoods. Mm-hmm. You're right. Everybody out here loves Face.
Yeah.
I never put the 2 together, but when you just said that, I'm like, because he was at the Howard a couple of years ago, and everybody I knew was like hype. And I never would like, why do you think that is? Like, why do you think there's so much love down here?
One is DC is more south than anything. It's more south than north. So all southern MCs get a lot of love in DC, but secondly, it's the go-go scene. Scarface is he's a musical dude. He plays bass and whatever. So he's always been big in the go-go scene in the area. So I remember him, and he still does go to shows and perform with backyard band and all of that and all those type of things. So he's heavy and always been heavy in the DC area, the DC scene, and we always had a lot of respect for him. Okay. So I think that played a big part in people loving his music and loving him. He's a god in it. You know what I mean? Like he can get and pass in any DC hood because people respect him because of everything I just said. Like he's that dude.
Yeah, it's funny. One of my people's Flock, who's a straight street dude, don't go to shows, don't do clubs, but he was like, "Yo, I'm going to see Face at the Howard," and I was like, "Oh shit!" Like, nigga, you don't go nowhere, like,
right?
You know, but he's like, "Nah, I'm going to see Face." Like, that's bug. My bad. But who's your number two?
Yeah, two is Nas. I didn't get on to Nas until a little later. But Nas is like what Stripe was saying, like, you know, Nas is Nas. I mean, what more can you say about Nas? But my number one is Pac. That's probably an unpopular opinion, but Pac, I could play Pac. Again, this is another one. Growing up, I heard Pac in the backseat of my parents' car, so that's who they listen to. I could play Dear Mama for my mother, you know what I'm saying? I could play White Man's World for my kids, you know what I'm saying? I could play Temptations with my girl. Pac's he covers all bases. And so, right. You know, he's not the most lyrical, but his delivery is top notch, and he's a great storyteller, and he puts good music together. So to me, Pac is the one that he's always going to be my number one.
That's dope. That's dope. And I think it goes back to what we were saying about King's Disease. Pop makes dope songs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, if that's this, it's almost like the player, like, yo, he wins games.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's just the moral to the story. Does he have his crossover? Maybe not, but he wins games. Like,
he'll win the game for you, yeah.
Yeah, I can't be mad at you for that. Bro, who are your top three, bro? I know Nas is one.
Yeah, Nas is one. Yeah. This was kind of difficult. Number three was because it's like three people in that slot, mainly because how they impacted me as a kid, like when I really first started listening to hip hop. So I'm gonna give one of them a little more shine than they usually get, and I'm gonna say Ice Cube is my number three. Cube was, man. When I first heard NWA, like, Cube stuck out to me, and then his solo album, like his first three were like them first three solo albums Cube had were like amazing, man. And Subject Matter, and you know, a lot of people, the young kids now, they just know Cube from being an actor, but they don't know like Cube had some shit, and it was not all gangster shit. It was a lot of political shit. You know what I'm saying? You remember the Burn Hollywood Burn John with him, Chuck D in it, man? Come on, man. So Cube is 3, Biggie is number 2. What I mean, I don't even gotta explain that. I mean, Big. Some of the stuff the way he be flowing, man, and some stuff just amazing. Like you go back and listen to it, some stuff just amazes you. Like I was listening to, for some reason, the Junior Mafia album, and on the Oh My God joint, he said, "Orange, mango, peach, I strangle each." I was like, huh? Like who orange, mango, peach? Yeah, Big is amazing, and then Nas is my favorite. And Nas, before Nas was my favorite rapper, it was LL. So let me get LL some love. LL was my first favorite rapper. He just was like the coolest dude in the world at that time. And I'm a kid. L had everything. He had the women. You battle him, he gonna cook you. The style. L was just that dude. So he was my first favorite rapper. But when I heard Nas, it was just something different. I was a really into beats real heavy. Nas the first person that the lyrics just caught me. You know what I'm saying? More so than the beat. You know what I mean? And I remember hearing, like, I didn't hear Live at the Barbecue before I heard like Halftime and Back to the Grill, the Chuck Rock joint. I had to go back and listen to Live at the Barbecue, and I was just like, yo, then I heard It Ain't Hard to Tell, and I was just like, yo, this dude, man. Like, It Ain't Hard to Tell is like one of my favorite songs ever. And I just listening to that Human Nature sample, a song that I love, and hearing him flow over, it was just like effortless, man. I said, yo, nobody's really doing this right now. This reminds me of like Rakim, maybe Kool G Rap or something. Nobody right now is doing this, is rapping like this. So
and he did that when he was young.
19, you know what I'm saying? 19.
Young.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, I was like, yeah, this dude's amazing. So those are my three.
Yo, it's amazing to me that, that you guys are like 33 and I'm 47 and we damn still got the top three, me and Strife. You know what I'm saying? Right? Or, like, even with Kenny you said Big, right, Kenny? Or you said
nah.
You said
Nas. He said Pop.
Yeah.
Pop Nas and
right.
Face.
I'm surprised he didn't say his favorite, though. I was waiting for him to say that.
Styles. SP is he's a little low on the list, but SP, Strife know
rappers. Everybody loves SP, man. That's a rapper right there, baby.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just, mine is Big J and Nas, but it's just dope to see those MCs, go from a 47-year-old to a 33-year-old. You know what I mean? To just be able to speak the same language or whatever like that. You know what I mean? And I mean,
it's like,
what you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say it's like from like one generation to the next generation, Right. But it makes you think like, what is it about those artists that they carry that made them, stand the test of time? Like, what was it about their music? Like, was it the delivery? Was it the message? What is that quintessential thing that just like, yo, you know what? This will work for this too. I think everybody's searching for that.
I think the thing that everybody had up here, number one, don't tell me this shit, guys. All right, there we go. My bad. The crazy thing I think for me was everybody that everybody named is talented. Right? That's number one. And somebody out there watching may be like, yo, shit, everybody's talented. Well, not fucking really. You know what I mean? There's levels to this shit. Like, there's a lot of people in the NBA, but not everybody is going to be, the face of the league. Everybody isn't Hall of Fame material. And I think everybody we just named is all Hall of Fame material.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like with Big J and Nas, they're super talented. With Pac, Nas and Face, super talented. You know what I mean? Like, these dudes have it, and I think that's the thing that a lot of people want to get to. But you either just have it or you don't. You know what I'm saying? For a lot of times, like, you can try your best to try to get it, but Cube had it. When you heard "Fuck the Police" or "Straight Outta Compton" or "America's Most Wanted," it's just it. Like, there's nothing.
You know it when you hear it.
Like, there's nothing for you to try to get because you already had it. You know what I mean? Right. So I think that's one of the reasons why they're able to transcend generations. And because when you're that talented, I feel like if Pac was still alive, Pac would still be dropping incredible music right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you see it and it's just like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, these dudes are still, Nas just dropped King Disease. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Jay Electronica's album to me was a Jay-Z album. You know what I mean? I don't like that album as much if Jay ain't on it. So, I mean, I think you got that too. So, I mean, I think that's the crazy thing about it is that them dudes just have it, first and foremost.
Kill. I don't know if this happened to you, but mentioning Pac, coming from where we're from, right? I got on the Pac. I'm so mad because I got on the Pac so late. I got on the Face late because in Philly, I wasn't listening to it. You know what I'm saying? And then I got caught up in the beef, and I was like, "Fuck Pac." You know what I'm saying? And I missed out. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I missed out on so much good music, but I was caught up in it. You know what I'm saying? I did not fuck with Pac during that time. You know what I'm saying? It took a couple of my friends to like, you know what I'm saying? And then I met a guy from DC, one of my homeboys, and that's how I got on the Face because he was Scarface fanatic. And that's how I got on the Face. And it's like, I'm like, damn, man, I missed out
Yeah.
But I'm glad I was able to circle back. You know what I'm saying? But like Pac and Face, like early on, it didn't get to Philly like that. You know what I'm saying? Like we weren't listening to it like that, and it's kind of like had to circle back as an adult and really, you know what I'm saying? Because I think Scarface is one of the best all time. I do now.
Yeah.
And that's for me circling back and listening. He has some amazing music. And you can see it by how the other MCs look at Scarface. You know what I'm saying? The other legends look at Scarface. So, but I just know as a youngster, it didn't get to me. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it got to you, Q. It didn't get to me. And it was like, damn.
When that whole East Coast, West Coast thing went down, it was fuck Pac. It was, you know, I fucked with Pac with the first album when my homies called Brenda having a baby, you know, but then when he was on the Vibe cover, like, yo, Thug Life is dead. I don't want this shit no more. And then the next time I seen Pac, he on Death Row shitting on Biggie. So it was like, fuck Pac. But I just tweeted the other day, like, yo, I missed out. Same exact thing. Like, I missed out being when, like, for instance, Kenny, this is the funny part. I just listened to All Eyes on Me maybe about 2 years ago.
Wow.
For the first time. You know what I mean? Because Portia loves Pac too. And she was like, yo, Kenny, listen to Pac. Listen to All Eyes on Me. I was like, all right. And I like it. I love it. Like, I think it's an incredibly dope album. And like you said, bro, I miss being there when it came out because I know that excitement and that energy had to be even greater than me finding out about it 20 years later after he died. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, being young, being 22, it was like I took that big shit serious. You know what I mean?
We all did.
When he dissed Nas, I was done. When he dissed Nas, I said, "Oh shit, hold up!" Right? And he threw the mob in it. He dissed mob. I said, "Oh no, I can't."
I'll tell you this: one thing I always respected Pac for, and why I've always said he's one of the illest, was for what he did outside of music. You know what I'm saying? Like I always felt like Pac was one of the realest niggas. Like when he was shooting at them undercover cops in Atlanta, you know, when he would just he was like the Malcolm X of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And I love that of him. You know what I mean? I thought he was an incredible actor. You know what I mean? I thought he could have.
Speaking of that, let me ask you a question. Would you say that Pac was the rapper to break the bridge between being a musician and being an actor? Do you think he was the quintessential one to be like, yo, you know what? Because of him, it opened the door for like a whole bunch of rappers to be actors now.
I think it did. Now, keep in mind, I'm 47 and I'm old. I can't remember shit as quick as I used to. So
was it?
I know Cube was in Boys in the Hood first. You know what I'm saying? But I do think after Juice, like, and I think it I don't know if Pac opened the door for it. But I think what Hollywood started to see was these rappers are so big, they can put butts in the seats. We can sell more tickets. You know what I mean? So I don't know if there was any one rapper who kind of kicked in the door and was like, look at how dope I did it. Y'all need to do it. I think Hollywood just kind of picked up on like, yo, you know what? What if? Because to me, I don't know if Boys in the Hood, I remember when that shit came out and it was like, yo, Ice Cube's movie. Like, that's how it was looked at. Like, that's Ice Cube's movie. Like, I don't know if you put a no-name actor in that role. I don't know if Boys in the Hood has the same impact that it had because it was like, yo, that's Ice Cube's movie at the time. Everybody was drinking 40 ounces. Ice Cube was like it. So if anybody, it may have been Ice Cube because I think that's when Hollywood kind of picked up on, yo, we could be on something with putting these rappers in these fucking movies.
Okay.
So many people are doing it. I think Pac may have been the best actor. That shit he got with Layla Rashawn, what's that shit called? He's got 2 movies I really, really fuck with hard. One,
Pac?
Pac. He had the joint where he's a heroin addict and he's trying to get clean. I love that joint. And then he had another joint with gang related. Gang related. Yeah, gang related. So the crazy thing is I enjoyed all of Pac's movies. So I think Pac had it all, but I'm with you, bro. Like I missed out. You know, I missed out on his greatness.
Missed out, man.
You know what I mean? Like,
because the Machiavelli album to me is so fire. And I know back then I'd have been like, oh my God, this shit. But I was so caught up in that and I just missed it. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta make sure I give him his flowers. You know what I'm saying?
No, I mean, and Pac deserves it, man. You know, like to me, like I said, at this age, it ain't about. I was arguing, well, not arguing. I was going back and forth with a couple of years ago with this dude about Jay-Z. And I was like, yo, where do you have Jay at? He was like, he's my number one. I'm like, nigga, he's my number two. And he's like, I know, but he should be your number one. I'm like, nigga, it's a space. It's like, yo, we can't sit here and argue about. To me, if you have a certain allotment of MCs in your top 10, I ain't got no beef with it. You know, it may not be my top 10, but if you say Pac, Face, the cool. Like, why are we arguing about that shit? Like, or why are we arguing about Big is your number one, but he's my number two? Like, dog, it don't matter. Like, it's you know, they're all incredible MCs. They all left something. You know, I hear the things. Well, Big can't be top. He only had 2 albums out, but I'm like, yo, Big had so much music out. You know, probably like you said, the Junior Mafia, the stuff Big had even before the first album dropped. Big was everywhere. You know,
and then what about impact? You got to take the impact.
Impact.
You can't ignore it, man. When Big dropped, the impact was so big. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you can't discredit that just by saying, oh well, he had 2 albums. But look at who he influenced. Look who he influenced. That hardcore Little Kim's album is a great album for a female MC. Big wrote that.
That's why I give him 4 albums. I always give Big 4. I give him his 2 and the Junior Mafia album and Hardcore.
Because they said on the documentary, he wrote the Junior Mafia album, gave all of them their personas. You know what I'm saying? What about
that nigga
impact?
was on some Scorsese shit. That nigga was on some here's your part, here's your script.
Yeah.
And we didn't even touch on the shit he was doing. The original Come On, Motherfucker, Come On that Lord Finesse did with Sadat. The Think Big with Pudgy. Like, niggas who was in the area knew that Big was all over the place before Ready to Die even came out. You know what I mean?
He got a song with Shaq, and that song is amazing.
Oh, yeah. He killed that.
And he destroyed that song.
Yeah.
I mean, but I think man, when you're that talented to be able to do that, like you said, Stripe, that's why years later he can transcend generations because his music is still going to get played. I've heard a DJ do 2 hours of a Best of Big set. You have some DJs who can't do that with a nigga who got 5-6 albums out. You know what I mean? So, and I told my young boy this. I said, yo, Eric B and Rakim may have had 10 songs per album. So by the time we get to Rakim's third album, he only had 30 songs. Big's second album had 28 songs. So he's talking about song for song. We can't go that route, you know. But I mean, I get it. You know, it's just one of those things that, you know, I just think at the end of the day, some people, and again, it's always about which your thing is. Like, what are your attributes of a dope MC? Like, what do you want your MC to have? Like, you know, a lot of people have Black Thought in their top 10. For me, storytelling is one of my top attributes of being an MC. And to me, that's not something that Black Thought does well.
That's not a strong point. No, that's not a strong point.
You know,
it's true. So, I hate to agree with you, but it's true.
Yeah. So when most people tell me they like Black Thought, that kind of already lets me know you like spitters. Like, you know, like there's certain things that if you tell me Black Thought is in your top 5 or he's your number 1, you like spitters. You know what I mean? Like, storytelling may not matter to you, which is cool because we all have our own personal thing of it. But I'm just always like, know what your shit is, because some people will be like, nah, he's whack, he's this. And I'm like, what's your top 5 attributes? Oh, I don't know. Well, nigga, how you not gonna know what you want from an MC, but then you call an MC's whack? You gotta what you want from an MC. That's like a dude like, yo, Kill, hook me up with a girl. Okay, well, what you like? I don't know. Well, shit, light skin, dark skin, big, like something like
right?
Something like, I can't just find you a girl and you don't even know what you want the girl to look like. You know what I mean? Right. So it's the same thing with an MC, and I think that that's one of the things that hurts a lot of these new MCs is that they don't know why they want to do it. You know what I mean? When people are sending me music, I'm like, dog, why you want to rhyme? Oh, I just want to get on. You know what I mean?
Oh, I hear that all the time.
And that's the problem is when you do that, you really don't have any love for the game. You just want to get on. You know what I mean? Like,
and eventually that gets exposed.
Right.
Because you're keeping up a facade that you don't want to do anymore. You just get this identity crisis. Like, you know what? I'm tired of making this music. I want to make this. Right. But you've been doing this type of music your whole time. Everybody knows you for this now. So,
yeah. And I mean, then too, you look at it like same thing with ball. I don't think a lot of these players in the NBA really love playing basketball. You know,
you can tell.
It's kind of like, and my man said it, Kill a 6'5" 8th grader walking your teen center. What you gonna think? He play ball.
You gotta play ball.
Yeah. You know, the kid could be like, nah, nigga, I just want to sing on the choir. You know, I just want to play fucking volleyball, or I want to play soccer. Like, you know, your family's gonna say it, the coaches are gonna say it, the niggas gonna say it.
Yeah.
Now you gotta play ball. You get your parents out the hood. You could do and you do all of that, and then you get the money, but you don't really love it. You know what I'm saying? So I always tell people, if we had 50% of the Kobe Mamba mentality in these players, we'd be seeing a whole nother level of ball being played out. You know? But these people kind of just stay in it for the check. And now that hip hop, see, I came up in an era where hip hop wasn't about money. You wasn't getting a lot of money. You know, like Paris says, still I ain't never seen no rapper living comfortably. You know what I mean? And that was 92 with Crossover. You know, when niggas was put, what he say? I drive a Corvette, he drive a Samurai Suzuki. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is what niggas was pushing. Niggas was pushing Volvos and Pathfinders and Jettas back in the day. You know what I mean? Be a broke ass rapper if you tried to pull up and you know, you have to rent a car. You know, you can't pull up in no Honda Accord. You know, you can't. You could barely pull up in a Lexus nowadays.
But you know what's crazy? They styled all that shit back then though. Like they had style with their shit, man. Even if it wasn't something extravagant, it was extravagant to us. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like now a lot of stuff is just forced bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It was more creative back then to me, man. And it just, you know what I'm saying, it affected me. Like how you was talking about Fab and you was going to school, you know what I'm saying, dressing like him and all that. You know what I'm saying? When I was like maybe like 10, the Jeep thing was big in Philly. And my cousin got a Pathfinder, and I just thought that was the coolest. You know what I'm saying? I just was like, man, I always wanted to, you know, can you take me to school in a Path? You know what I'm saying? It's just, and you know what I'm saying? I don't know if if people are getting that same feel, man. That's a feeling I wish everybody can get. You know what I'm saying? Can have, and I don't know if you getting that from what we getting right now. To me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's a good point, because I don't know if there's a kid 20 years from now going to be able to talk about his favorite MC the way Strife was just talking about Fab.
Right.
Like, somebody's going to be that excited to talk about fill in the blank MC. You know what I mean? And
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
That's the sad part. Kenny, who was it for you, like how it was for Strife with Fab? I mean, I know you said Styles P, but you know, is that the person that brings that?
Oh, nah, yeah. It was Bone Thugs and Harmony. It was Bone Thugs and Harmony was the group that got me into rap. When Crossroads came out, I was hooked. I grew my afro out, like, you know what I mean. I was, you know what I mean. I was doing all of that. Bone Thugs and Harmony was down. His hand. Thank God for my mother. I remember vividly. I was 7 or 8 years old when their first album came out, and I begged my mother to go get it, and she bought it for me. And my father was like, "Buddha lovers, you know, first of the month, like, you can't listen to this." And I was like, "Why not?" Like, you know, and I used to sneak and listen to it when I would get home from school. Like, so yeah, Bone Thugs and Harmony is hands down that group for me. Or, you know, it's not any individual in the group, but just the group alone is that group.
And see, the difference between what Kenny just said from then to now is, I always talk about when you love hip hop so much that you're willing to die for that shit. And what I mean by die is you're sneaking. Like, somebody has told you don't do, and you like, nah, fuck that. I'm still gonna do. Like, that's like you want to get some ass so bad, you want to cut school knowing you could get in trouble, you could get suspended, but yo, you want to get with Shorty. Like, that's how much hip hop meant to us. And it was like, you know what? If I get caught, I'm gonna be grounded. This
so what?
So what? So what?
You know, this new generation, they listen to whatever fuck they want. Like, it's no harm, no foul. So we're gonna always have another appreciation for it than what most average listeners will have, because you really gotta love something. And you talk about growing up in the house with your father. Like, if my pop said don't do shit, I ain't doing shit. Like, I mean, you really gotta love something to disrespect pops, because you know,
Right.
You know, but at the end of the day, it's worth it. Like, it's worth that much to me that I'm willing to take this L for that. You know, and that's why people watch, and that's why people, you see the looks on these people's faces. Like, Kenny, your whole face changed when you talked about and that's the
one more real quick story. I remember, just to tie it back to Big, I remember when Notorious Thugs came out and it was on the radio. It was on WPGC. This is the WPGC exclusive when that Drake came out, and that's back when you used to record or tape.
Oh yeah, tape. Yep.
So I'm listening all day for this song, and of course I had to go take a shit. So I'm sitting on the toilet, and I hear this is a WPGC. It's going in big. I'm like, no. Hurry up, do what I gotta do. And I caught Biggie's verse, and I was so glad I caught Biggie's verse. Well, yeah, go ahead. I'm just saying this shit.
Yeah, nah, but that's dope, and that's what I'm always challenging this younger generation. Because one of the things I want to do is we have to bridge this gap between generations. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, the old heads always like, that's whack. The young boys are like, yo, old, and we just gotta bridge this gap, because the whole culture is about community. The whole culture is about, you know, I want to know that there's some young boys out there that, you know, I'm 47, that's 27, that I can make sure it knows the game, that they can pass it on to the next generation. Because that's what it's got to always be about. It's like, yo, we can't beef over a culture that we both love. That don't make no sense. That's like
it's gonna die.
Yeah, it's like two people beefing over the NBA. Like, nigga, we both love the same thing. Why we beefing about it? Let's come together, you know, make sure we're passing it down from generation to generation, which is another plug for. So what's the scenario?
Exactly.
Because this game is going to be able to be one of the things that helps you, you know, get things, being able to have those conversations, because that's what has to spark. That what has to spark it is, yo, you know what? Well, why you think such could be such and such? Because, you know what I'm saying? And that's where the conversation starts. That's how we pass the baton on to the next generation and to the next generation. So, yo, I can't wait. Next week, we're getting back on. We're going to play these joints for everybody so everybody can see how thorough it is, how fun it is. Strife, where can they get at you? Social media, websites, you an engineer, where can they get you if they need stuff mixed?
Yo, you could get at me on Instagram, on IG, Strife Excel, STRIFE. Do I have an underscore? No, I think it's straight through. EXCEL on IG. I accept everybody, and we can chop it up.
All right, you on Twitter?
Twitter, no, not anymore. Not anymore. Just IG.
All right, no doubt, no doubt. And Kenny, where can they get at you, good brother?
On IG and Twitter, I Scrap SCRAPP IISCRAPP. You can get on me on IG and Twitter. For the game, like you said, killsowhatgames.com. Yeah, that's it, man.
Yo, I see the shirt. Do you got merch? You got merch for sale?
It's coming. Yet? It's coming. Shout out to my boy Boss ENT. We're working on some merch. So yeah, we're gonna get that together for y'all.
All right, that's what it is. Rel, where can they get at you, good brother?
Instagram, Uptown JBen, Twitter, JBen215. Yeah, that's it. That's where I'll be at.
Real quick, Rel, before we go, tell them about Mamas.
All right, so listen, man. Listen.
What's Mamas?
It's a cheesesteak spot in Philly, man. Cheesesteak spot in Philly.
And I told you number 2. Yeah, this is my number 2. My number 2.
Okay.
So I told y'all to go there.
It can be number 1. Like, it really can be number 1.
This is like seriously to go back and forth.
Philly not that far from me, so yeah. What's up?
Tell me about
it's worth the trip, bro. It's worth the trip, bro. Like, what? It's so funny when I walked in, and I said, "This is the spot Kill was talking about," and it was a older lady at the register, and then there was the guy back there cooking it up, and it was I seen on the thing it was saying like world famous cheesesteak or something on the little glass part. And I say, yo, let me get a cheesesteak, man. Salt, pepper, ketchup, mayonnaise, fried onions. That's my thing. And yo, it's enough. It doesn't taste like any other place. It just doesn't. The bread is amazing. The portion is overwhelming. Yeah, like you eat that whole cheesesteak, you a bad man. Especially at our age, you a bad man. You eat that whole cheesesteak.
Y'all young. That shit retired me. The last time I was home, I ordered a whole one because I always eat them. I couldn't even finish it. I was like, God.
No, I didn't finish mine. I didn't finish mine. And like it's on point. It's worth the trip. It's worth the trip. Look it up.
Yeah,
it's off of City Line Avenue. It's
Mama's Pizzeria. It's right outside Philly. It's like a minute outside Philly, and it's
right outside. Yeah,
Kenwood. But I mean, it's literally like 2 minutes outside Philly. That's why most people don't know about it.
Yeah, because I'm from Philly and I had never been there. I had never been there, but I just happened to be over there, and I rolled past, and I was going somewhere else, and I said, "Oh no, I'm gonna stop here," and I hit kill as soon as I went in there. And I said, yo, I'm about to get a cheesesteak from here. And this is, you recommended it. And 10 minutes later, I said, yo, man, I got to treat you to one because you put me on to something crazy, bro. Like,
just everybody I've been there, that becomes their number one spot. I mean,
trust me, man.
It doesn't taste like no other place in Philly. Like, I don't even know how to explain how it tastes, but it just doesn't taste like.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's doing, but
yo, I told my wife, she was like, yo, I gave it a cheesesteak. She was like, yo, this shit feel like a baby. Like, this feels like
that's serious.
Like, yo, I can't eat all this. Like, she don't even like it because it's just too much. You know what I mean? So it's definitely a dope spot. Y'all already know this with me. Kill889, Twitter, IG. We'll make beats for food. I will check y'all next week, y'all, man.
Gotcha.
Peace.